Hello, good morning and welcome back to the Fish Locker. Today I'm up in the northeast and I'm going to be fishing with my friend Tom from Whitby Piers. There's Whitby Harbour in the background, got Whitby Abbey on the top, and here behind me are the whalebones. Yeah, we've had a hell of a lot of sea running for the last couple of days. I mean, when I first come up there was a good 10 or 12 foot of sea. It's been dying off constantly, the wind's dropping away, so hopefully we're going to get a nice bit of mixed fishing off the piers onto the sand. As usual, I will talk you through the rigs, the rods, the tactics and everything as we're doing it. Let's just get some baits in the water first. I have put my hat on. My ears are cold. They do stick out a little bit further than everything else, and it is cold. Yeah, looking at how the sea's died off in here, it is incredible. At the moment we've probably got about a foot. In fact, I'll put a little clip in here now what it was like when I first come up. And that was filmed just down there on that headland. It's incredible, those waves there were at least 10 or 12 feet. Hopefully what's happened now is because we've had a nice stir up. Stirred up when it's just dying off as your cod fishing time, and when it's flattened off like this, there'll still be a lot of particles in the water, but hopefully it's going to be like your dabs, your flounders, your bass, your whiting, your coalies, everything like that. We're going to have a little bit of a scratching day, so we brought the lighter rods. Okay, I've got my first bait out. I like to try and get a bait in the water first before we start doing anything else, just so that I've got something fishing while I can be talking to you. We're using like longer, thinner rods than I would be if I was fishing for cod. These are generally, it's classed as like a continental star. Mine are pentidals, and this one here is 4.2 metres long with a casting weight, optimum casting weight of 150 grams. Because of that, I'm fishing clean ground. I've got a really sensitive tip because we're going to be fishing small baits for generally smaller fish. The rigs that I am using are going to be some alteration of a 2-hook flapper rig, either like a 1 up, 1 down, a Wessex, or just a standard 2-hook flapper, 2-hook paternoster. And I'm fishing like flotation beads. Small hooks, like size 1, size 2, even down to size 4. And the leads I'm going to be using are, I'm going to start off with some round leads, because the area that I'm fishing into here is going to be predominantly sand. I'm wanting the baits and the weights to kind of manoeuvre around a little bit until it finds a gully. Now, gullies are natural holding points for food and for fish. Now, you might be lucky, you might cast straight into one, but it's easier if you can cast out and let your bait roll and then find one. My rods are coupled with just some 7,000 size reels. Yeah, as we go on through the day I will show you the different baiting ups, but it's going to be things like frozen blacks, ragworm, a little bit of squid, a little bit of mackerel. Yeah. I'm not sure whether or not Tom and I are going to try and have a little bit of a competition or an experiment, being that mine are just normal rigs and Tom likes fishing clip down rigs just because he spends more time making his rigs, I guess. Also you get more distance when you clip down rigs, and you can present smaller, softer baits at distance with clip down rigs than just normal flapper rigs. Because with mine, because they're not clipped down, as soon as you try and put a power cast on, everything just flails about. Whereas a clip down rig, you can generally get that little bit extra distance.
Fishing from the shore, it would make a bigger difference. I think fishing from a pier, you're already a distance, aren't you?
Fishing off a sandy beach, where it's like a gently sloping sandy beach, if you're going to have to put in casts that are over 150 yards just to be able to get to a decent depth of water, yeah, clip down rigs especially. But yeah, because we're already fishing off a pier, we're straight into deeper water, so I figure I'll be able to get away with it. Now you can see the rigs that I'm using are just very simple 2-hook flapper rigs with a couple of beads, small hook and a little bit of worm. And like I say, I am using a rolling lead just to see if it can't search out the sand and try and find where the fish are. Like I say, these are just a 7,000 size reel. First check of the baits, they've been out for about 10-15 minutes. One of the hooks has been stripped up and one hasn't. So it's showing that 10 or 15 minutes is about the right amount of time to be leaving them out there before you need to check your baits. In this area we've got a flooding tide at the minute, so that means the tide's rising. Here the tide floods in that way and ebbs in that way. And it was interesting because I've just been exploring out where I've been casting the baits. First ones are casted straight down to that, I don't know if you can see it, there's a village a couple of miles down the beach there, straight out to there, and they never moved. And the next one I casted it maybe only about 5 or 10 degrees away, and that one now is rolling all the way. So everywhere kind of from straight out back towards the beach there seems to be no prevailing current, whereas as soon as you start getting around there you can see the rod tip on the right is constantly, as the bait's trundling. We'll fish this for a while, and if it doesn't seem to be showing anything, we might move to a different section of the pier, or we might even move to a different section altogether. Yeah, I'm getting what looks like a dab bite on the left hand rod, which is just like a... Yeah, they suck it in and blow it out, they nibble it and they rattle it. But yeah, I've got 2 hooks on there as well. And you can't strike too late with a dab, because they'll just hook themselves. There are some snags down there. Yeah. I had a dab on the bottom and I pulled it off in that snag. That is a little teeny weeny codling. That is a perfect baby codling, if I can just get hold of it for long enough. There was a dab on that as well. I felt the dab bite. Yeah, I pulled into a snag as I was pulling it up, and it's pulled the fish off the bottom. I could see because it's distorted the hook as well. Yeah, just a little bit of frozen black. Actually, it's a member of the cod family. It's a cod because of this little bib here. Go and drop it back. 1-0, yeah. Huh? Yeah. There it is. See how this one's just bending in the tide, and that one's giving like a solid. Yeah, I was getting like a little pecking bite on this, and I just left it for a while. 1, just so they could hook themselves, but 2, because I've got 2 hooks on this route. There you go, that's the first flounder. Hooked perfectly. Oh, easy tiger. Tell you what, it's quite a thin one though. Nice little flounder all the same. One of the ways that you can tell the difference between dabs, plaice and flounder is that flounders have got a much broader tail, and you can see dabs, when you hold them up to the light, are almost see-through, whereas flounders, they've got like a nice herringbone on the inside, but also only their lateral line. When you're looking at their backs, you just calm down for a second. I'll put you straight back in a minute if you just calm down. Now, if you look at their lateral line there, everything all around it is smooth, but the lateral line is bumpy when you rub backwards. Rub them this way and it's smooth, lateral line rubbed that way is hard. Straight out. Bite on the right. There, look, you see that? Bowing down is just the water going. It's a sharp up there, look, on both rods. Loads and loads of like little wrapping bites. Could have been down home and I said, oh, that's going to be a little pin whiting. But yeah, it is a little tiny pin codling. Like micro cod. which is a good sign for probably in about 5 years time when these will be legal to keep. But because their mouths are huge compared to the size of their body, yeah, they're just worrying the baits. Now Tom's fishing on the opposite side, and there's that much of a pull that he's just getting dragged into snags. I've got quite a lot of line snags out here. I've lost a couple of fish because as I've been bringing it in, it's pulled into a snag and it's pulled the fish off. So we might move further down the pier and try and find an area that hasn't got as many snags in it. You might see what I keep doing with the rods as well is I'll leave them for a couple of 5 minutes and then give the handles a wind, and all it does is it moves the bait on the bottom. So if there's a fish sat somewhere nearby, that moving it on the bottom, that lead will disturb the sand, create a puff of sand, and it'll attract the fish. But also if there's a fish sat there looking at the bait, if you move it, it thinks, oh no, that's going to get away, so it triggers a strike. Especially when you're fishing for flatfish, just gently moving the bait periodically can bring on more fish. All I'm doing is these little tiny hooks, these hooks are like this big. I'm just putting a little tiny bit of frozen black on them and just whipping it ever so gently to the shank of the hook, just in the hope that it keeps it from sliding down to the bend and masking the hook point. But also if there's any of these little codlings or little pennocks, little billet or anything like that, crabs, it holds it on the hook a little bit longer. So yeah, you've got a nice little compact bait, but with the hook point it's still proud, look. And that's just got a little floating bead above it. That's all. Just 2 hook rigs with a rolling lead. I've put in both baits further towards this bit of shoreline here now, just because they keep getting pulled all the way around, and every single time they get round there I'm picking up little codlings. And the bait hasn't been out for more than 2 minutes, the one on the left hand side, and it's already starting to get a little rattling. So all around on this sand in all these little gullies, these flatfish, these dabs and flounders are all just moving about, constantly trying to find little bits of feed. See if he's on it. No, he hasn't committed yet. Still just pecking out. All I did there was I just lifted to see if I could feel weight, see if I could feel a bite. Just drop it straight down and straight back on it again. Because these baits are long. These dabs have only got a mouth that's about that wide. If the hook's that way onto it, it won't go into its mouth, so you have to wait for it to. Which again, another reason is why pulling it out of the way might help you, because if you're pulling it out of the way, you'll be lining it up so you can strike it. Ideally today, if we catch all of the fish that we're kind of targeting, dabs, flounders, coalie, whiting, codling, maybe even a schoolie bass. Those are all kind of the usual suspects around here at this kind of state of tide and with these conditions. Tiny little codling. Well, slightly bigger than the last one, but still a tiny one. These have actually been picking up, I don't know if you can see it on the bottom of his anal fin there. I've got some lice on them. Everyone that I've caught so far has had a few lice on them. Yeah, he has walloped that down his gullet. Greedy little tyke. If all I keep catching is these, I might move to a different spot. Oh, hello. Wow, just. Now this is something that's been showing up and down the coast, but I wasn't expecting to catch one. That is a little haddock. And when I say little, I mean very little. He's properly emaciated. He's like skin and bone. Like you can feel his ribs through the middle of there. He is really, really poorly. In fact, I've never seen one so skinny. And something's tried to predate on him as well. He's got a couple of bite marks just down here. Yeah, I'm going to take a photo of that because that is just incredible. The bones are sticking out through the top of his head. Yeah, look at that ridge. But he's walloped that. Another species for the tally. There you go, rebaited, ready to go back out. But that's it for a second because I've been getting a bite on the other rod. Yeah, managed to find another snag. Yeah, I think I'll fish these baits out if I can get that one back, and then I might move further down and try and avoid the snags. Bloody thing. Don't know if you saw what I did out there. The snag that I've found out there is someone else's lost line. So all I did was I just put my gloves on, just gently wrapped around the braid and just pulled back, just trying to feel it to see if I could dislodge it. And by being gentle with it, all that I've done is it's managed to just tear off one hook. Now there was a fish on that, so hopefully the fish has come off the other end of it. Otherwise, yeah, you have got, all we've lost is a hook. The rest of the rig's still useful. So yeah, rather than just raving and pulling and maybe snapping the whole lot off, I'll just have to tie a new hook on now and I'm ready to go. Or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get one of my, I have a load that I've already pre-made up. I'll take that off, clip one of these on, and then when I've got 5 minutes, tie another hook onto that other rig. Tom's just reeled in now, he's leapfrogged down. He was fishing that side, now he's fishing that side to get away from all the snags. And the first rig that he's reeled in has got a rockling on and a crab. So yeah, racking up the species. I'm just tying on this new rig here. Tom's just wound in. This shows you absolutely 100% proof of the difference between... Oh, well,
he's gone.
He's gone.
Sure.
But yeah, my rigs have all got these little floating pop-up beads on.
Been nipped on camera, you are.
Yeah. And Tom's, exactly the same rigs, just 2 hook flappers, same baits, same everything, apart from he hasn't got any pop-up beads. And the last 2 rigs that you brought in have either been completely stripped, and this one was. You put that in my hand to try and get me bitten it.
Sure.
It's just crabs.
It'd be one for the outtakes.
Yeah, so I'm managing to get away from it because I'm using pop-up baits. Yeah. When you go all the time of digging worm, or like the expense of buying worm, sticking a couple of beads on like this to keep them out of the way of the crabs, yeah. Perfect. That shows you the size of the hooks I'm using as well. See that pull, that's the tide running round. And to show you here, you can see where the tide's running. The salt water is coming down, that's the grey water, and all this brown water here is all coming, it's all the fresh water coming down out the harbour. So yeah, this seam here is got a bit of confused water. I've found it when I'm trotting my bait down just before I reach that is where I'm picking up like those little codlings. So yeah, they're probably sitting just on the edge in the salt. The salt will be underneath the fresh as well, and any particles that come down the river or anything that comes down all kind of meets up here. But yeah, you can see how fast it's moving. Considering the wind's blowing this way, how fast those bubbles are going, and then it all just kind of goes that way. It's amazing, it lasts 10 minutes. Like I'd said, that I was just giving these baits a chance to fish out, and then I was going to move further down. In 10 minutes, as we're reaching up to high water and the flood is not running as hard, that dirty fresh that was all the way over there is now all the way down here in front of us. So yeah, I think I'm going to leapfrog Tom. Tom's just down the ways there. In fact, that's where I'm going to end up being behind him again, probably about there, just fishing into sand. I think this is number 7. Number 7 codling. Not got a very impressive bag at the minute. 7 codlings for a total weight of about 6 ounces. Yeah. What I might do in a minute, I might run up to the van because I've left my flask in the van. I've run back up to the van real quick to go and get my flask. because I tell you what, it is cold down there. I'm going to take 2 seconds here when I'm sat in the warm to be able to talk to you about today's sponsor. Today's video has been sponsored by Holy Energy Drinks. Now, anybody who watches my videos, they'll have seen that they supported us and wanted to sponsor one of my videos a couple of weeks back. They do energy drinks and hydration sachets and iced tea and things like that. I predominantly drink the hydration sachets and the energy drinks. Anybody who knows me knows I don't do caffeine. I don't do tea, I don't do coffee, I don't do anything. I don't do Red Bull. Occasionally when I'm suffering, like as last time when I was suffering with jet lag, these energy drinks really help me out. These are the blood orange flavour, these are my favourites. And I drink the energy drinks and the hydration sachets. So times like when I've been wiped out because I've been doing a lot of work, one of the hydration sachets brings me right round. I'm not going to say that this is the best time for it, but if you're suffering with a hangover, I've found that they also help. But yeah, these, I like these. I take one of these before I go to the gym. But today what I'm going to do, they're really easy to make. All you do is, this is their thermos flask. You'll just pour one of your sachets in here and then fill it up with water. In this case I'm using warm water, I'm not using hot water. This is a flask that I made up last night. It's got a tiniest little bit of steam coming out of it. Now look. Yeah, hopefully, we've been up here for 3 days, so we've been fishing probably 12 to 14 hours a day. I am wiped. So hopefully this is not only going to warm me up, but it's also going to pick me up. Yeah, there's information that if you're into that type of stuff. There's no sugar, no taurine, no artificial flavours, no artificial colours, all that sort of bump. I will tag information in there if that's your type of thing and you want to read up about it. But yeah, I like them because they taste nice. They're not too strong. Like if I have a cup of coffee, it'd blow my head off. I can take these to go to the gym, or I can take these when I'm flagging, and they're not too aggressive. Oh, that'll warm your cockles. Like I say, I will tag information in the description of the video, including a discount code that Holly have given me to share with you. I hope you have a good day. I'm going to get back down there and meet Tom. Let's go and see if we can't catch some fish. It's just had a couple of bites, so what I'm going to do is literally just like one wind like that, just to move the bait a little bit, to see if it goes again. There you go. Another one of the usual suspects, a little tiny billet. That's a local name for a baby coley, a little billet. So what we had, codlings, addex, a flounder and a billet. And crabs. Plenty of crabs.
Question. Does it count as a personal best if it's the smallest of the best?
Well, I've moved spots and I'm still catching these little teeny weeny Tommy cod. Come on, open up. I've used live baits that are bigger than this guy. Oh, gullies have spotted it. You're not having it. Oh. Tell you what, I could ride that thing into battle.
Oh, it's a scabby one.
I was just going to say, yeah. Caught him fair and square though. That's a proper dogger. Well done.
Why not for your winter cod fishing if it was a tailor?
I've moved down the pier twice, and every single time when I've cast out, it's just full of line snags. All I'm catching is that a little tiny Tommy cod and losing rigs into line snags. Now, if you're fishing for cod and you're fishing with really heavy gear, you can probably pull some of them out. Because we're fishing lighter gear on lighter rods, we're just losing hook length and then losing gear. So we're packing up. I'm going to go and move to a different mark and probably fish onto some clean sand. It's if I'd have known it'd have been like this, if I'd have known that there'd have been this many line snags down here, we would have started fishing on the other mark. Because we've missed the best of the flood now. I wanted to fish 3 hours up and 3 hours down, and it's pretty much bang on high water now. So yeah, we're gonna have to get a little bit of a jog on. How many rigs in total did you lose there? 2 or 3?
2 and 2 chucked on the end.
Yeah.
It's a heavy braid snags.
Yeah, well, I was saying that. I lost one total lot and I lost 2 hook lengths from the rigs. Managed to pull it out of a couple of snags. So I hit 6 snags. I don't know, them little Tommy cods, I probably had 9. And a flounder lost a dab. Positive it was a dab, but just couldn't fish through the snags. So what we're going to do is we're going to march back up the hill to the van and then go and try and find another mark where we can fish on some clean ground.
You didn't mention my impressive haul of crabs.
No, no, I try not to. I didn't want to embarrass you by saying that all you could catch was crabs. But yeah, that showed you difference straight away, being that the only difference between our rigs to start with was mine had flotation beads on, so my beads had floated the baits off the bottom. Times past, I quite like fishing a rod into the harbour just down the side, because you generally pick up like a nice flounder or a nice dab. But there's been that much fresh down, and looking at Taytail Beach over on the other side there's just half a forest washed up on beach, and every now and again there was loads of sticks and brack all coming down. So I figured to fish the seaward side.
Interesting how bites did seem to die up in that wedge of fresh water.
I said
but
that.
I always thought fresh water floats on top of, because of density on top of salt water.
Well,
so
yeah.
it looks like it's there, I don't know if it
But
is.
what I thought is the reason why that fresh come round is because the tide dropped away. When the tide was pushing hard, it was pushing it round.
But is that like a wedge of fresh that's just sat in the top couple of foot? That would be my opinion.
I'm not sure that the fresh has put them off. I think it's that the tide's dying off.
Yeah.
And the bites have died off because the tide's died off. And as the tide's died off, the fresh has overpowered the salt and it's come round.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be nonsense. We might just be trying to find excuses for why we're not catching fish. Pretty good at that. It is a lovely town. Lovely looking town. Yeah. Might come back up in summer with James. Do a bit of boat fishing. There we go. We're now going to be fishing a beach mark. Any of the locals will recognise this straight away. This is Upgang. Down there is Sands End, and down there is Whitby. This slipway here, we're going to start ebbing off. And this area here is going to end up being a sandbar, and we're going to follow the tide down. So yeah, hopefully it should be a lot cleaner. I think I'm going to set up just at the end of the slipway, and as it ebbs off, I'm going to walk it down there. There we are. I am set up. Try to keep the rod tips really high, just to keep them out of the dump. Yeah, Tom down the way there, when he first got down there, it was about maybe up to his knees. It's now just round his ankles, so it's ebbing off quick. And he's going to be fishing onto a bar. Round that bar, there's going to be some gullies. Now, the reason why I picked here, there is no real break, but there is, looks like there's a small gully forming over that side. I thought this water running down this way and hitting this area, swirling up in here, would be a half decent place for some fish. Do you see how I was meaning now about how it empties out and creates like a bar? Tom walked out and was standing onto that bar before it had finished off, and all the water runs out here. I thought to myself, that's all going to run this way and empty out right in front of where I've got my rods. Now unfortunately for me, what I hadn't planned for is the fact there is a lot of weed. There's like, well, a lot of these little twigs and sticks and bits and pieces. I had quite a bit of weed hidden up in the sand. I hadn't planned for that. But yeah, I've been catching a lot of weed. I've lost the dab again. Started bringing it in, just had a clump of weed on, thought there was an ounce of it. Got it to the bottom of the slipway and went to go and lift it like that and popped the dab straight off and it just washed off. So yeah, I just can't keep them on the hooks today. I lost the dab on the pier, I'm absolutely positive it, and I've just seen it there to get away. Yeah. Now that the water's got all the way at the bottom of the slip, I want to move across to the corner of that bar, keep fishing straight out. I'll just show you real quick. This is the this is the problem that I'm having. The little tiny pieces of weed end up doing this. see? And this catches more tide. Catches more tide, so it drags it, gets it all balled up. Yeah, that's the issue that I'm fighting against at the minute. Hopefully when I get on the end of the bar there'll be less weed. Yeah, just showing a cracking back there. We were just stood chatting, thinking about what we're going to do, because like Tom said, he'd struggled down here with the same like grassy weed around the line, but he's pushed off, so hopefully I'll be away with it in a minute. Yeah, he's getting yeah, up, you got it. No pressure now. I'll just stand quietly over here. Yeah, I was chatting there to Tom before he got that bite, and his baits have been coming back immaculate. They haven't even been touched. So we're hoping that the fish come on in darkness.
It's not one, it's two.
Oh, well, you got coalies. Well done. Tell you what, that's a better fed whiting than what we've seen.
Coalfish.
Double shot, well done, mate. So there's your coaling. And whiting. Well done.
Sat there for
Saved
an
it.
hour.
Yeah.
Get them back in.
The problem I'm facing is when I cast out over there and over there. And because of all this ground here, all my lines have just ended up going. And because they're laid at an angle now, more waves are hitting them. So you can just see they're like constantly brum, brum, brum. That might be a fish on the right, actually. I was getting bites. I was positive I was getting bites, and I just was not connecting with them. And I was thinking, what's going on? Now I know what it is. I was getting loads of little tiny bites because it's loads of tiny pin whiting. These are like the most emaciated, skinny little pin whiting you've ever seen. And also, look, there is parasite. See that in its gill? Every fish that I've caught today around this area, on this beach, is just emaciated, just skinny as skinny can be, and all of them are covered in lice and worms. There is something going on round here. What looks like fog blowing past is all just spray coming off the... look, you can see it's really hard to keep the lens clean because of the salt and the spray. But yeah, there's a fish there on the right hand side, I think. I was starting to doubt myself. Double shot of a flounder and a slug. Try this. It's not. It's not the double shot the dreams are made of, but I tell you what, I'm happy with it right now. Yeah. Nice little flounder taken on the top hook, and a little rockling taken on the bottom hook. Right, this one does have very, very pale, faint red spots on it. Don't be fooled, this isn't a place, this is a flounder. Again, like I was saying about the one from earlier, it's got a thick wrist to its tail, it's smooth going that way, and its lateral line has got some little rough bits on it. I am very, very happy with this guy. Not so much this, but I'm glad you came along for the party. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in a bucket with some water, because if I catch a dab, I'll be able to show you the differences between a flounder and a dab. If I catch another, if I land a dab. As you see, I prep a rig ready to go, so all I need to do is unclip one and clip the other one on. And it looks like we might have a customer. I've just been to go and get a bucket full of water here to put these fish in. And Tom's just come up because he's just had a nice... stop! Oh, you swine. Tom's just had a nice whiting. Now, I don't like putting my fingers in their mouth because they have got hellish teeth. But yeah, that is a slightly better one than the one that I had. Hopefully, this is the fish coming on the feed. Tom's fishing a ways down there and I could just hear like dun, 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 running up the sand.
It's incredible how it was so quiet earlier. Now they seem
as soon as it's come dark, I
got that one fairly close.
I was going to say you're fishing a big lead though, so you're not moving. You're on a what, a pulley.
I have just put plain lead out there, but it's trundled off to the...
Well, that was it. I put mine out over there, and already you can see it. Yeah, again, I was just casting out and I heard like Tom's running across proud as punch. It's caught a lovely schooly bass. Yeah.
It's gone from being daylight and us scratching around for air bite to darkness, getting pestered by the whiting.
Yeah.
So dropped a pulley rig just in behind the surf, and it's no monster, but
nice. But you tell you what, it's a lovely condition fishing, considering that everything else seems to be skinny as hell.
The spikes work on it as they should.
Yeah. You're going to just knock the hooks out and stick it in a bucket and then talk us about your rig, because trying to cover as many bases as possible because we're trying to just catch fish. I've got 2 hook flappers out with small hooks just trying to catch everything, and I've got one with a rolling lead trying to find anything like gullies, and I've got one with a fixed lead out as far as I can go. Tom has tried different rigs, so we're all trying something different. I'm also using small strip baits so I can catch things like your dabs. Tom there has gone for these are slightly bigger hooks. What are these?
Yeah, panel of 1/0s.
So they're 1/0 J's.
Yep.
And you've just been baiting that with straight ragworm.
Straight ragworm on £30 flow roll.
And what type of rig are you using?
Just a pulley. Standard pulley again. The old arm's length.
Total of about 5 foot, 2.5 foot each side.
Yeah. I did try and get away with a plain lead, but it just pulls round so fast.
It's incredibly fast. I'm leaving a rolling lead to search out the surf, and I know because it's rolling. That was how I picked up that double shot of a flounder and a slug. So by walking up the beach, where I know it's going to come back, hopefully it'll come all the way back past me and search out fish in between. That's my plan. It means more leg work, but hopefully it's going to result in a fish. But yeah, well done, mate.
Onwards, and we see what else we can winkle out. Hopefully back and back.
Yeah, well, it's definitely switched on now it's come dark, and it started to get better just as it got darker and darker. Now that we've had darkness for what, 2 or 3 hours? Yeah. I'm really glad that the fishing has switched on. Where you go? I was right, it was a bite, but it wasn't the fish that I wanted. Flipping slug. This one, don't know what I can show you, but on the end of its nose, no, 6 beards, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 on the top. 5 bearded rockling. So another species. Oh, I tell you what, you're thrashing it with them little bass.
They're thrashing me more.
Yeah, I tell you what, they know how to use them spines, don't they?
Well, they don't, the small schoolie, but nice loop inside there.
They are a stunning looking fish, aren't they? But, like I say, spikes all up there, spikes on the back of there. They've got a really nasty one that always catches me there. They do like a thrash, and just managed to dig that like straight in the gap of my thumb there. Again on straight ragworm on a pedal. Yep. Well done, mate.
Thank you. Back.
I keep getting rattled out. Here, I'll walk it back out.
You got him?
Yeah. Putting your finger up like that, just sliding up inside the gill cover, means that it can't get away, it can't spike me, and it's not going to damage itself. Yeah, I've just been getting rattled out by like little tiny whiting.
I had 2 sit down up there with plain backboard.
There you go. Well done, bud. Oh, I dabbed another one.
The whiting. Missed a nice bass bite. And it's got quiet for a while at the bottom of the tide. Seems like these things are back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still just picking them up real tight and short though.
Yeah, 30 yards maximum. Just literally the back of this
Well, we got 1-2 foot of surf here.
Well, we were just talking a minute ago, weren't we? That it seems to be, it's shallow up to about 50 yards out, and then it steepens off quite a bit. Because you can feel when you're bringing your lead in, it comes in fine, and it drags, and then it comes in free again.
I've stopped fishing at distance with a group of leads because there's a, like you say, it drops off and it raises back up, and if you have a fish at distance, you feel your lead jamming up as you're coming over that bank. And with smaller fish such as this, you just knock them off.
I am really scraping the bottom of the barrel with these. Really pale, almost pink looking rockling. 5 bearded rockling. Tom's just come beaming up with a nice sized flounder. I tell you what though, he's been in the wars. Been in the wars. I think he's got a sore on his back and his fins have taken a bit of a battering. I did mention earlier, even though this one has got little red spots, this is 100%. This is a flounder. It isn't a place. It isn't a hybrid. And you were saying what rig are you taking it on? A little talk scratching rig?
Talk scratching, but I was changing baits. I was wound, didn't have a bite, wound in, about 3/4 of the way in, solid weight, fish started fighting, and yeah,
so you've
it on the way in.
You picked it up on the retrieve because
they are very predatory.
Because the water's so shallow. On the way in, this is obviously still dragging on the bottom. Like I was saying earlier about agitating your baits, it's obviously this has come past its nose. It's seen it and just had it. But yeah, lovely one. No, I was explaining as well with him. I'll just try and flip him over.
Good.
Yeah, you can see the herringbone pattern, can't you? Awesome. Do you want to put him back or do you want me to do it?
I'll let you know you got a wet hand.
Okay. Right. I'll see if he'll do it. Oh, there he is there, look. He's gone. Right down to the wire. Literally, we're just moving a gear back now. Tide's already started flooding massively. And my last ones is a tangle of a coalfish and a slug. That about sums up my session right there. This has been an incredibly challenging day. Not because of the lack of fish, just because of the lack of quality of fish. See how perfectly camouflaged they are, can't you? See you later. Right, we are all packed up, everything's in the van. All in all, I think we had 8 species. I was holding on for that last dab to make it 9, but I just couldn't keep one on the hook. A lot of smaller fish throughout the day. Tom managed to pull out some fantastic, lovely flounder right at the end and 2 nice schoolie bass. Definitely the better fish came on once we come on to dark. We adapted the rigs throughout the day. I was using torque flappers and you were using clip downs and then changed the pulleys at the end. Yeah, all I can say is thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have come up here and done all this without you.
Hopefully next time it's in warmer climates again.
Yeah. Fingers crossed next time it'll be sunny when we're doing this. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.